Hello, welcome and thank you for joining me for another roundup of this week's movie and TV news. First up, we have news that production has begun on Disney's remake of Mulan. Production begins on Disney's Mulan. Based on the 1998 animated feature, Mulan is reportedly to film in locations in New Zealand and China for a March 2020 release date. The 1998 feature was nominated for an Oscar and 2 Golden Globes, so the new movie has a lot to live up to. So let's hope the live action version lives up to all the hype. And I have good news for Lucifer fans. Production on the next season has just begun. Fox prematurely cancelled the show, leaving fans to mourn the loss of a much beloved TV icon. Netflix took the outcry to heart and resurrected the show for a further 10 episodes and maybe another later season. It's a far cry from its other 24 episode season, but only time will tell whether they will keep the quality bar high on this one. Personally, I liked the style and the overall story of the show, and I was really taken aback that it was cancelled so abruptly, even after the shocking cliffhanger, because they thought for sure they were going to get another series renewal. I am very much looking forward to the next season to see these characters cope with the after effects of this cliffhanger, and I'm going to enjoy seeing them on the screen again. It really was quite a stylistic and thought-provoking show with some great entertainment and some great actors in the mix as well. Now we have the What Men Want trailer. Paramount Pictures has released the first trailer for the upcoming remake What Men Want, starring Taraji P. Henson playing a successful sports agent who's constantly boxed out by her male colleagues. When she is passed up for much deserved promotion, she questions what else she needs to do to succeed in a man's world, until she gains the ability to hear men's thoughts. Now, this storyline is certainly nothing new. However, what impressed me about the trailer was Taraji P. Henson's comedic abilities in her role. She sells her performance and proves that she is a strong comedic actor, and in fact I laughed a couple of times during the trailer. So based on that alone, I have high hopes that this movie will become a comedic hit. The film is set to debut in January 2019, but I've recently just heard that it's been moved back to February next year. So, we hope that it won't be moved back anymore, and hopefully everything's alright with the film. Now we have news about Westworld. The Emmy award-winning sci-fi hit show is currently in pre-production of its season 3, but that didn't stop Jonathan Nolan from talking to The Hollywood Reporter about said season. When asked about the vision for season 3, Jonathan Nolan couldn't help but tease the fans by saying this: "I think it's a radical shift. What's compelling and appealing about these characters is that they're not human. As we said in the show, humans are bound by the same loops that hosts are, in some ways even smaller. You couldn't expect human characters to withstand and survive the kind of story we're telling. The hosts have a different version of morality." It really is something to think about, and what impressed me most about the show was it raised these very intellectual questions about what it takes to be human, as well as its constant examination of human behaviour. For those of you who haven't seen any of the seasons, I implore you during this down period to give it a watch, because it is way up there with Game of Thrones, and it's by the same production company as well, so it's got to be good, right? On top of Jonathan Nolan teasing season 3 of Westworld, we also have David Harbour teasing season 3 of Stranger Things. Again, speaking to The Hollywood Reporter, the actor told us what to expect from his character, Sheriff Hopper. He said it's fun to see Hopper having adopted Eleven. Spoiler warning, sorry. She's been legitimized and adopted into the society of Hawkins, Indiana. And he's a father now. He's raising a teenage daughter with all that implies. So he thinks it's funny to see Hopper's inadequacies in all of this. Now he goes on to say that this coming season is going to be much darker than previous seasons and much bigger, and I can't wait to see more from that world. Next we have the release of another trailer. It's Goosebumps 2 Haunted Halloween. Sony Pictures has released a brand new trailer for the upcoming Goosebumps 2 sequel. Jack Black returns to lend his voice to Slappy the ventriloquist doll, with newcomers Ken Jeong, Wendy McClendon-Covey and Chris Parnell. To be quite honest with you guys, I really enjoyed the first one. I watched Goosebumps when I was growing up, and seeing these characters alive once again feels really great. However, the sequel looks kind of a rehash of the first movie. Now, I'm struggling to see anything they have different other than the fact that it takes place on Halloween. It may have some new actors and good comedic moments, but I'd rather watch the first one again. Next I have a TV show announcement. Sky is currently working on an adaptation of H.G. Wells' novel The Time Machine for the small screen, though the outlet stresses that the project is still in the very early stages of production. It's a classic tale that has actually been done to death in recent times, but I'm hoping with these other writers and directors they bring something new to the table, new and refreshing. Now I have news of Damon Lindelof's Watchmen series is being given the go-ahead to produce a full season. After receiving a pilot order in 2017, Lindelof's Watchmen series have been given the green light for a full series, which will probably debut in 2019. Originally published as a 12-issue series in 1986, Watchmen quickly became one of sequential art's most acclaimed stories. The original story centers on a murder mystery before blowing out of proportion into a full-blown conspiracy. In a world where the fine line between heroes and villains is perpetually blurred. I have read the Watchmen graphic novel, and I've got to tell you, that world is dark and altruistic. It's got a certain charm about it, but at the same time, it's quite a grimy, it's quite a suspicious world. No one trusts anyone. It's quite a bad world, but I think it's a great world to explore. It has a story and a tone that is most prevalent today as it ever has been. Now we get 2 new releases. Slenderman is out this week. I've already talked about Slenderman in one of my previous news videos, and I still have high hopes that the movie will give us some great scares. It revolves around a group of teenage girls who are stalked and preyed upon by a supernatural entity. It's released in cinemas on the 24th of August. Go watch it if you fancy a scare before Halloween. The next release we have is BlacKkKlansman. Directed by Spike Lee and starring John David Washington, Topher Grace and Adam Driver, this historical drama is based on a true story in which we see an African American cop running an investigation into the Ku Klux Klan. I have heard high praise about this movie, and rightly so. I'm looking forward to watching it, because it not only examines the racist rot that was at the centre of American culture, but it also shows the wondrous changes that society as a whole can bring in a very stylish and fashionable decade like the 1970s. For those of you who'd like to know more about the evil that the KKK commits, as well as the backward and harmful politics that it employs, please watch Mississippi Burning, starring Gene Hackman and Willem Dafoe. And I believe that BlacKkKlansman will be a welcome addition to that genre. Thank you for joining me for today's news roundup. I hope you enjoyed the movie pitch I did last week. This week it's back to normal movie reviews, and I'll be going over a movie that ranks highly in the pantheon of modern classics. I talk of course of Jurassic Park. Keep watching for more from inside the movie world. Thank you very much.